All right, we are here back again with 732 interviews, and I have the lovely Alyssa here.
Yeah.
Two good nights in the interview. I do appreciate you doing this again. I definitely want to reiterate that. Thank you so much for doing this interview. We're going to get in depth here and stuff like that, but we do notice that you are an amputee, so it's the big thing here.
Yeah.
And I first want to say that it's unfortunate, but
It's unfortunate, but everything happens for a reason. Yeah.
So I'm sorry that happened to you. We're going to get the background story of that, and we'll talk about that.
We'll get to that background.
But first, let's start with your childhood. Tell me about your childhood.
So, I grew up very tomboyish. The girls were too girly, and I was playing in dirt, playing sports, playing football. I was playing basketball. I've always been into sports. And then when I got old enough to actually play for real, I played soccer, volleyball, basketball a little bit, and then I ended up getting a slip disc in my lower back. So I was at school, I was a liability if I was on a team, so I couldn't play sports anymore. So the slip disc in my lower back, it's like the last disc. It's like L1 or something like that. I forgot the exact name, but people will look it up and they'll see.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
But yeah,
okay.
That prevented me from getting into weight training in school and everything. So in schools, I struggled to stay in shape. But then there's ROTC. They took me in. So I went into AF ROTC, which is the Air Force Junior ROTC.
Oh, nice.
And every week we would work out, like hard workouts. And I would run miles, and technically with a slip disc, you're not supposed to run, you're not supposed to jump, which is technically all the workouts, all sports gone. It's just so
okay.
I was like, oh shit. But my ROTC chiefs and shit, they were cool, and they let me push myself. They let me stay in shape, and luckily that got me right. And then my whole life I've been real flexible,
right? And
that helps with this situation. Mm-hmm. And it's just like all my life I have been building up to this happening.
Okay.
I kept my core straight, and I went to PT for 2 years, which is physical therapy, for 2 years when I was 14 to when I was 16. Mm-hmm. And during my pregnancy with my little girl, because I got pregnant at 15, had her at 15. So during my pregnancy, I was in physical therapy too. And that's another reason why I'm in such good shape with my core. Right. And that has helped with this whole situation, because my collarbones broke, my ribs on my whole left side, all of them but two are either fractured, and two of them broke literally in half, and they punctured my lung.
Wow.
So they had to put a tube in my lung to keep me breathing. Yeah. And I have a scar right here that shows that, and where the tube was inside my lung, and I could feel it. It felt weird. So it was like plastic just sitting on your bone.
Right. But it's a survivor story.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is weird. And literally when I woke up, the whole day, first day I woke up, how they drug you up and everything after surgery and all that. So I didn't even know I lost my arm. The doctor had to tell me, because I'm right-handed, so it was my left hand. It's a dumb limb. I didn't even use it really to begin with. I used my legs and this arm more than anything. So when the doctor told me, I was just like, because it was funny, I didn't even notice. And then I was just like, okay, cool, I'm alive. I have a baby girl. And then my mom's reaction when I said that, she was like tearing up, and she was like, had that little mom smirk, like she was so proud. She was just like, wow. Because the way I handled it when the doctor told me is not the way a lot of people would have handled it.
Picturing it, yeah.
So
Picturing that's crazy. That's wild.
I was just sitting there like, I'm alive, like I'm a mom. Yeah. Like there were so many ways in the accident that I could have died. Mm-hmm. Like my seat had turned. If it didn't turn like this, then it would have been my neck, not my arm.
Right.
And then we were in a convertible, a Mustang convertible, and the top was down, and the seatbelt didn't stop until right here. So the fact that I even survived is crazy because when we flipped, I hit my head so hard. My brain was bleeding and everything. I had long hair almost to my back. But during surgery, they had to cut the top of my head. I have a long scar right here.
Wow.
And they literally had to cut my head wide open just to prevent that. And then I had to cut all my hair off. And then during the accident, some teeth came loose. And they were already messed up from my pregnancy, which some females, moms will understand because my pregnancy is a whole nother story. But it was rough. So when that happened, I lost 3 teeth, my hair, and my arm in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I was only 19.
Wow.
I just turned 20 in April.
Wow.
So like, just that happening at this age, me having a baby at 15, just those 2 things are phenomenal that I'm even this okay.
Yeah,
and honestly,
it's commendable. Yeah.
The motivation, my only motivation, my biggest motivation is my daughter. She is my biggest motivation.
Right.
Like, if it wasn't for her, I know I would not be so okay. Like, that would not be the thing. So, that's why her name is Serenity. She, like, when I gave birth to her, I knew she would be my serenity, my peace. She's literally my everything. She's my world.
That's amazing. Wow. So you said it's been a year.
Yeah,
since, right?
July 3rd will be the 1-year anniversary.
Right.
And today's June 13th.
June 13th.
So it's less than a month away for the 1-year anniversary from when I lost my arm.
Right.
And I was literally on the way back from picking up dry ice for my little brother's birthday because his birthday's on June 4th.
Okay.
So I missed his birthday, and then I missed my friend's labor to her baby because I was only in the hospital for 6 days.
Were you in a coma, or were you
No,
unconscious?
I was unconscious literally the whole accident,
Okay.
the whole on the way to surgery.
Okay.
They said that I opened my eyes like in the airplane because they had to send an airplane to send me to Grady Hospital in Atlanta.
Okay.
They were the only people who could
do
save
something
me,
about it.
like literally. They said my arm looked like it was mangled by lions, like a group of lions.
Yeah.
And they said it was hanging, but literally like a thread of skin and muscle and tissue like this big.
Well, let me ask you a real question here, and this is going to be kind of in depth if you're not comfortable with answering it. Does it ever hit you? Did it hit you a little bit after when you woke up that, wow, like I don't have my arm anymore?
Honestly,
or does it ever hit you like, wow, you just sit there and it's like,
When I was in the hospital and I was laying there alone, I learned a lot because I wanted to drive. I loved cars, first of all. I've always wanted to drive his Mustang, but I just had a feeling where I just didn't want to. And if I didn't want to drive it, why the hell did I get in it? And then come to find out, his brakes were messed up the whole time and he didn't tell me. He knew not to tell me because I messed up and told him I know about cars.
Right.
So he kept that from me. And if he told me that his brakes were messed up, I never would have been in an accident. But that just told me to listen to my intentions.
Okay,
That's
awesome.
That just told me to listen to myself, my conscience, my gut. And ever since, like that's why I'm so okay, because I've surrounded myself with people who support me, get my situation, or at least try to understand my situation.
Okay.
So, and that's all that matters. Like, I make good decisions now because I learned my lesson from the accident. I learned a bunch from the accident.
Good.
I learned that life is very short, and I already went through millions of things before just this accident. So all that prepared me for this.
So your family is a continuing support system, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes.
All right, and who would that be? Your mom?
My mom and my sister.
Your mom, your sister.
They're the main ones. And then my dad, too, sometimes. He's in and out. But he's right here now.
Right.
Like right here now.
Okay. And pretty interesting. You let me know beforehand that you are an aspiring model. You are very beautiful. I do want to state that here.
Thank you.
But before we get into that stuff, we're going to talk then again about your ethnicity growing up with your family and things like that. Explain to me the home dynamic. So you said they're a continuing support system now, but did you go through anything particularly with them growing up?
Yes. My parents got a divorce because the whole 15 years he was cheating on her because he was out of town for work. And then, but I was 11 when they divorced. They were married 2 years before I was born. So that whole time though, he was cheating. And then when I was 10, my whole world crashed because they gave me this whole fantasy. Like, my family was perfect, it's gonna last forever. Like, everybody my parents were around were like, they're the perfect couple. They're the power couple. They're like the model couple. So like, it was a big shock when they got divorced. And I found out who he was. And he cheated with my neighbor, which happened to be my friend's mom. And then the other neighbor in front of us, which happened to be my friend's mom. And then stayed with him. And then we ended up moving. And then when we moved this new school, all of that messed me up because I was a daddy's girl. So I realized my dad was not who he was. Like, reality hit, basically. The whole dream world was gone. So when that happened, I was just in a bad state. You know how girls go with daddy issues. They don't have their head together. They don't make the best decisions, especially when it comes to guys.
Right.
So they go to other little boys to fill the void for their dad. I made horrible decisions, and I had a relationship with like this. He was 19 and I was 13.
Wow.
And
okay.
that was illegal, but I didn't care because he seemed like a good guy. He gave me that impression. It was like a year later, it was like 10 months later, we broke up, and then 3 months later, I ended up needing to ride home one night because my mom wasn't answering, and I needed to get to my friend because she was calling me. I was in Athens, she was in Jefferson. So it was just like, okay, I need somebody. Like, she was really in trouble. She was family problems. It was a big deal. I'm not going to tell her business, but
okay, no worries.
It was emergency 911, and I needed to leave to where I was, and nobody was answering because it was literally like 2 a.m.
Okay.
So I went to my ex, the one I was with for those almost a year.
Right.
And he had so much spite, I guess. He played it off so well. He wouldn't take us on the way back. He's like, "You hungry?" I was like, "Sure, I'll grab something to eat." So we went to Zaxby's, grabbed something to eat, and then he's like, "You want to smoke?" I'm like, "Sure, let's smoke." We go smoke real quick, and then he ends up like locking the door behind me and everything. Which I was like, "Why you lock the door?" He's like, "Okay, it's fine. It's just what I do." And I went in his house before. He never did that, so that was already caution number one. But it was late. I was like, I'm ready. I was rushing, so I was like, let's hurry up. I didn't really think too much about it because a lot was going on. My mind wasn't really on that. So he ends up, we go smoke, and then he ends up like just taking advantage. Let's just say that he ended up like locking me, and I ended up getting raped that night.
Wow.
So I got raped by my ex just because out of spite.
Right.
It was literally out of nowhere. Like, that whole story is crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to hear that one. That's crazy.
And then it's one of those stories where, because so many females, they'll sit there and say rape when it's not rape.
Right.
And with my situation, there was proof. My slides was stuck in his basement because he had rat sticky traps in there. And that people had came and knocked on his door because people were looking for me. My mom had already called the cops and shit. So my mom came and knocked on the door, and he like put his hand on my mouth like this and like made me quiet. He was really tall, lanky, muscular. So I'm short. Like, he was like 6'2". I was 5'2".
Okay.
The whole goddamn, there's no way I had the strength and I was young. I was only like 14.
Right.
So like, hello. So, at this time I was 15 because it was a year later.
Right.
15, and he was. So, and that's another reason why my pregnancy was so horrible, because I didn't know who the baby was, because I completely blanked out.
Was that with him?
My baby daddy, yeah.
Okay.
So I thought he was the baby daddy, but it's not. Thank God. That's why my pregnancy was so horrible. But yeah, that happened. Like, the rape happened. That changed my whole perspective on guys. And that made me stay like pretty much in the house because where I stay is a small town.
Right.
Everybody found out and they didn't believe me.
Right.
So like with people not believing me, with only my family by my side, and literally the person who happened to be my baby daddy, he didn't even believe me. And the whole time I was pregnant, he was trying to mess with my head like back and forth.
Right.
So like he was very toxic.
Okay.
And didn't help with the situation. And then the whole time I just didn't know who the baby was because I blanked out that we did something like a week before I got raped.
Yeah.
Like it literally, my mind was
Kind of
fucked
just,
up.
yeah,
Like it was
refusing
fucked up. Like something traumatic happened.
Yeah, that's your traumatic experiences.
So
yeah.
I literally just blanked it out. So when they found out the baby wasn't the dude who raped me,
Right.
they ended up, that pretty much messed up my whole case.
Wow.
They just gave him probation.
Wow.
And never sent him back to jail.
That's unfortunate.
Like, he's still out there, literally just maybe 20, 30 minutes away. And he used to stay on the street right beside me.
Right.
And so that's another reason why I hid in the house for like the first few years, because I didn't know if he moved or not. I didn't know what happened. So like, it was very traumatic. And that taught me a lot because once that happened, a lot of shit happened with relationships, of course, because between that and the daddy issues, the rape, and then I go and try to find somebody to help me fill that void. Because honestly, my family, they don't really communicate about emotions that much.
Right.
So like, yes, they're there, but they're not emotionally there. So mentally there. So like, I'll go to try to find people to help me because sometimes I'm an Aries. Like, we are emotional. Whatever we feel 60 times more than normal.
Okay.
So it's crazy.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So like it took me a few years to get my shit together,
right.
Mentally, healthy wise, and I was starting to get my shit together. I was good. I was about to go to work. I was in a good relationship. Next thing I know, this relationship that I was in completely messed me up. And I'm talking about the relationship that caused me to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
He took psychology and he messed me up.
Right.
Like, he was in psychology in college. He took those classes.
Right.
And he was the only person I was ever with that did that. Normally I'm good. Like, I already had been through the shit. I had already had my experiences, and I already just named the big few, much less everything else.
All right.
And I thought he couldn't trick me, but that boy sure as hell tricked me. Damn. With the brakes thing.
Yeah.
Like, he could be an actor. So that's what led me to this, and then it just led me to believe and trust my intentions more than just what I want.
Right.
Like, reality is not what you want.
Right.
You have to look at how things are and not what you want them to believe, want yourself to believe them to be.
Right.
So it was a lot to adjust to, and now, almost a year later, the shit has hit me more than it ever did, because the first like 8 months, I was really just trying to heal, trying to get used to the pain, trying to get my daughter back in my presence, because I had people babysitting her and watching her, because I literally have like 17 broken bones.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot. That top bone that connects to your shoulder and the back of your spine.
Right.
That little triangle shit.
Right.
On this side, it's broken half on both of those bones.
Wow.
The one in the back that connects to your spine, the one up here that connects right here. Both of those were broke in half.
Okay.
And then my shoulder blade back here is shattered on the bottom half. So like, yes, it's been a year, and technically I should be healed, right?
Right.
But I haven't been able to get in the PT because I haven't had a ride. Because legally, I'm not supposed to drive yet. Like, I have to get my license renewed, handicap. I have to get my car tagged, redone, and like, I have to do all that before I can legally get back behind the wheel. And then I have to get the doctor, and I haven't been able to get to the doctor to verify that I'm in the place to drive yet. And it's just, there's been so much going on, and depending on people, it's Honestly,
whole
the
thing.
fucking hardest part. Like, I'm
hear
so
you.
independent.
Right.
I was about to start working, and I'm a single mom, so like I wasn't working for like
Right.
2.5, 3 years, and I was about to start working. Next thing I know, I lose my arm, and now I can't work for shit.
Right.
I'm a liability to everybody.
I hear you. Yeah, it's a whole
Like,
thing.
I've tried this whole year to find jobs. Nobody wants me. So that's why I'm gonna look out for modeling once I finally heal.
Modeling, yeah.
Because I'm gonna make that call tomorrow, actually, to my doctor, because I finally have that ride.
So I definitely want to shift here and make sure we talk about that too, because that's a whole beautiful, commendable part of your inspirational story is your aspirations for modeling. Again, so briefly tell me about your ethnicity. So we see that you are, mixed, and things like that. So briefly tell me about your ethnicity.
Okay, so both my parents are Indian, like Native American Indian.
Okay.
The little awawa feathers and shit. Okay, so
Okay.
that's why my skin is so dark, and why I look the way I do, my features are so sharp.
Right.
The Indian in me, and then I have Italian in me.
Okay.
And that's where I get the thick, strong hair.
Okay.
And honestly, don't know my dad's side of the family. I just know my dad and his mom. He don't even know his dad.
Okay.
So that's the mystery in my whole ethnicity.
Okay.
But what we do know is I have 50% Indian in me, and about 20% Italian, and then the rest is just, white folks, they mutts. So we got all types of shit. So the rest is just what it is. But my dad is from Atlanta.
Okay.
He moved around a lot from DeKalb, like, oh my goodness, Decatur, like just Norcross, literally everywhere in Atlanta, the city, literally in the middle of the city. So that's why he made me who I am. Technically, he's the most realest person I've ever known.
Wow, okay.
So he's the one who made me who I am.
Cool.
My mom, she has the brains though.
Right.
She has the sense. My dad goes straight to anger.
Okay.
He's very emotional. He's a lot like me, but my mom makes me calm that shit down.
Right.
So she's more of a belief. She's where I get my beliefs from.
Okay, awesome.
She's the one who makes me believe, like, not really makes me, no, not makes me, that's the wrong way to put that. But she's the one who helped me just, I bond with her the most.
Okay.
I'm the most like her when it comes to my religious beliefs.
Okay.
So I believe in Mother Nature, karma, like natural things. I don't believe in necessarily that there's a white man up there named God who created all this.
Okay.
Like, that's just not my belief.
I definitely understand that.
So, and I don't judge. That's just my belief.
Okay.
I have no judgment towards anybody.
I get that.
So, I just believe in natural shit. Like, what's obvious, what's like animals, trees, the dirt,
Reality,
earth, connecting, like reality, like karma. You're gonna get what you get. Like, if you put out bad, you're gonna get bad. You put out good, you're gonna get good. I mean, that's how I was raised, with my realness, with the Italian and Indian. We're just so, not necessarily strict, but just on point with how we are with people.
All right. And so it looks like everything comes together. Your belief system, your beautiful, commendable story, again, overcoming those traumatic experiences, ultimately with the loss of your arm. We're very sorry to hear that. But also with your aesthetic appeal, your ethnicity, and your beautiful features. It comes together in the modern day, your current aspirations for modeling. So we're going to talk about that now, right? So have you worked with any companies or anything like that?
No, I haven't got to that point, because honestly, I know that nobody's going to want to work with me until I'm healed, because you can see, like, just look. This one's healed. That's a straight line. That one's got a whole dent in it. Y'all see that? Like, that's...
Do you have any aspirations to work with any particular companies or do any specific kind of work?
Honestly, I just want them not to focus on makeup. I'm not gonna wear a lot of makeup. I'm not gonna do that. I'm natural. I'm very natural.
Okay.
If you want to put makeup on me, just do the basics.
Right.
Don't cake my face up.
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. And I'm really just there to put the inspiration out for other disability people, not necessarily people with missing limbs, not necessarily any of that, just people with mental disabilities, people with physical. It does not matter. Like, I want to be an inspiration to y'all. You don't have to hide in the house. My first thought after, because I was in the house for so long after I had my baby, and I was like, my first thought is life is too short. You need to get out. There's no reason to hide in the house. You're not gonna live your best life or your happiest life. You're not gonna smile as much as you could. You're not gonna get as much wisdom as you could if you're not out there just to be out there. You're not gonna learn the reality of how the world's changing. Like, so much. There's so much to it. Like, my brain just switched once this happened.
Wow.
It honestly just made me see more things. It made me just, because my anxiety was bad. I had real bad anxiety my whole life. So once this happened, that shit just went away. I was just like, fuck that. Like,
yeah.
I can't care about that.
Right.
It's not worth my time. I have bigger things to focus on. I need to worry about myself. I need to worry about my future. I need to worry about my daughter. I need to worry about everything else, not just these little tiny things that people sit here and worry about.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I definitely want to express again that we are sorry that's happened to you, but you have ultimately overcome, and that's an amazing thing. We are hopeful for your aspirations in modeling and things like that, and we definitely want to talk again and follow up, and I hope that's okay with you to do a follow-up on this
Yeah,
as
we
well.
can do a follow-up.
Okay? So right now I'd ask if you have any anybody you want to shout out or say hello to. Do you have anybody you want to shout out?
Just my daughter. She's my world.
Okay,
You know?
blessing, lovely.
I love my baby.
I'm going to plug your Instagram right now. I'm going to throw it in the video. So your Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
What is your Instagram?
See, my Instagram is, sorry, I just changed my name. It's Lola, Lola dot love, LOVE 31 2800 312800. That's my Instagram.
Okay,
Lola.love.
And we'll definitely put that in there, all right?
Yeah.
Cool beans, all right? Awesome. So the last thing I ask, I go through things as well. You said you're not religious, that's fine. If you would just speak good energies, over this whole thing over me and things like that for you can do that here. So, I'm going to close my eyes.
Let's just say everything honestly happens for a reason. You can't sit here and focus on the negative. You have to have good energy about life to be able to receive good energy. There is no reason. You have to think about it. What do you have? What do you not have? Weigh it out. Are you alive? Are you breathing? Is everybody you love alive and breathing and okay? Do you have a roof or do you have food? Are you able to live? That's the point. Are you able to live? And if you're able to live, you can go from there. You can build from there. If you're at rock bottom, that's the farthest you can go. You can only go up. You have to think about the future. You have to think about yourself. You have to focus on yourself. People don't focus on their minds and self as much as they should. Put some good energy in your life and think about that. That's all I gotta say.
Alyssa, all right. Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. And that'll be it. Thank you so much, okay? All right.